Hi everyone, it's Shannon, and welcome to a place filled with endless inspiration, the Daily DIYer. Today, I'm going to show you some mind-blowing organization hacks that will make your life easier. I want to take you into my crafting space first and show you this little turnstile that has been life-changing for me, and if you have a crafting space, I highly recommend it. I will link this down in the description box below. It even has little drawers, little hooks, and it holds so many different things. And I especially love this little elastic part in the front. It actually holds my super glue, specifically my Super Unix. I love it because it keeps this facing upwards so that way it doesn't dry out and I have it to use for a long time. This first hack is a brand new one. We're gonna grab 2 or 3 of these organizers with lids from Dollar Tree, and you can add more or less depending on where you're gonna be using yours. I'm gonna be using 2 today along with these wooden snowmen, but if you flip them upside down, they're gonna be the little feet for our project. I'm also gonna be using Super Unix by the original Super Glue. I wanna thank them for sponsoring this video. And we're gonna start by taking those lids off of our plastic containers. Super Unix is super easy. You just twist the lid on and it will go ahead and puncture a hole in our tube for us so we don't get any of this on our fingers. But the cool thing about this product too is it's got about 10 seconds before it starts setting up. So if you do get some on your fingers, you can easily wash it off. And then we are going to flip these little containers upside down and attach the feet first, which are actually our wooden snowmen. We're going to add a couple drops of our Super Unix to the bottom of those wooden feet. And we're going to put these right in the center of the side compartments on these plastic containers. The cool thing about this adhesive is that it works on every single kind of material. So as you can see, I'm using wooden feet here on plastic. It's going to bond. It's also going to give us a very maximum strength bond. So this is going to be a project that's going to last and last. So since I had all of those feet on there, we're going to flip our trays upside down, or really right side up. We're going to add some more of our Super Unix onto one of the sides. Just run a small bead of the glue onto the little lip on the side of this plastic container. You're going to then sit these up, and we're going to use some little clips that you can also find at Dollar Tree to hold these together as our Super Unix dries. It only takes about 10 seconds for this adhesive to set up, but I would suggest letting it sit for several minutes before you actually go to utilize this organization piece. And there are so many different things that you can put in here to keep organized. I wanted to show you a couple ideas that I had, and that was to put it on your desk for all of your office supplies. So I just added some binder clips, some washi tape, staples, paper clips, some push pins, and even some hand sanitizer, just some things that I like to keep handy while I'm working at my desk. I really think the little feet that we added onto the bottom of this gives this such a sophisticated piece, kind of gives it a little bit more detail and makes it look a little bit more fancy too. Another idea is to use it on your vanity for either makeup or items like this that I just picked up from Dollar Tree for your hairstyling. So maybe some bobby pins, some hair ties, hair clips, that kind of thing, just so you have everything organized and handy when you need it. If you can't find these wooden feet at Dollar Tree, you can substitute them with wooden beads and you'll get a similar look. You can find those at different craft stores. And Super Unix you can find very handy as well on Amazon, and I will make sure to link that down in the description box below. Here's another great hack. I love these little pop top containers that you can find at Dollar Tree. We're going to be combining those with these self-adhesive hooks from Dollar Tree and some of their measuring cups. This is a very inexpensive hack, and it also is a kind of extra organization because it's going to keep everything together for you. And you can also utilize these in lots of different ways as well. All we're going to do is add one of those adhesive hooks onto the back of each one of these containers. containers, and then you can hang one of the measuring cups from those. So you can use these in your kitchen for food or even in your craft room for crafting supplies. You're gonna see me use these napkin holders a couple times in this video. These are so nice, especially for only $1. We are going to organize our acrylic paint with these. You guys know I love rainbows and my crafting space is completely rainbow. So this is a fun little trick to keep everything kind of color coded and also at hand when you need it. You can just slide those little paint bottles right into these napkin holders, and then you have not only a organized solution, but you also have something that's really cute for your crafting space. This little basket, I'm going to give you a couple different ideas on how to use it. I believe these are kind of like for your office for paper. So they're kind of short and more wide. I also have a Dollar Tree chalkboard that we're going to use to label this, but we're going to work on this basket first. So if you have a pair of wire cutters, it's a little bit easier to snip through the plastic, but some heavy duty scissors work too. We're just going to trim out a rectangle shape on the top, or I should say the end of this basket. And now we're going to do a little bit of work to this chalkboard. It had a little stand on the back, so we're going to remove that completely so it'll lay flat. And we're just going to use some hot glue, or you could use super glue to attach it to the front of your basket too. And here is a trick to using chalkboards. You kind of prime it first with some regular chalk and then erase it before you actually write on it. That way you don't get any ghosting with your chalk marker lines or your chalk lines once you go to write on it and erase it again. So it kind of fills in all of those gaps. So right now we're going to write bags on the front of this because we're going to use this for grocery bag storage. And then to attach it to the wall, we're going to use some of these clear hooks from Dollar Tree. I just have one in each corner. That way it kind of rests on them and also hangs from the top too. And it's just that easy to create some grocery bag storage. You just kind of fold them up, plop them down in there, and then it's easy to reach in and grab them when you need them. And then another idea to use these for are for your faux greenery and stems. You can just insert them right into those smaller holes. On the sides, you could also remove that label for the front, and that'll give you even more spaces to be able to store your flowers. These over-the-door hooks from Dollar Tree are amazing, and I actually have a couple different ideas I'm going to show you in this video on ways to use this. The first one, I saw this hook that you actually insert onto a shelf in your cabinet, and I thought I totally could make that with one of these hooks. So what we're doing is I just cut it down to size so it would fit inside my cabinet, and we're actually gonna twist and turn these hooks so that they're facing the side instead of the front. And then we're going to do a little bit of manipulation. Some pliers and some wire cutters come in handy. I sort of was playing around with this idea as I was filming so I could try to figure out how to make this work. So what I ended up doing is actually cutting off those end hooks and then bending the end up, and you'll see how this is going to fit onto a shelf in your cabinet to then hold either utensils for the kitchen or even craft supplies in your craft room. So this is what it looks like once it's all finished and kind of made to fit. It kind of hooks onto the back of your shelf and it comes up to the front, but obviously the front didn't have a little connector. So what we're going to do is again use those hooks that you can get from Dollar Tree and use that to hold that front part up, and then you can easily store your tools, kitchen tools, crafting supplies, things like that. Even great in a closet to hold scarves or hats. And this is called a wall mount wire rack from Dollar Tree. This is more in the hardware section. And we're also going to be using those hooks again. If you see these, obviously, I love them. They are so versatile and they're actually really great quality and hold up really well. And what I'm doing here is this is my quote unquote kitchen island that I got from IKEA that I actually use in my crafting space. I like to stand while I'm crafting, so this height works for me. But if you have a desk or something like that, you can use the same idea. I attached that hook onto the back of my kitchen island, crafting island, and then used it as kind of hidden storage for my Cricut mats and some of my rulers. And now let's head outside and do some outdoor organization. This is a potting station that I have on my back porch, and it was definitely needing some help and some love. So Dollar Tree this past spring had the most amazing, huge planters that I could not believe were at Dollar Tree. So I grabbed several of them, and I'm going to be using 4 of them for this organization. So 4 ended up fitting on this little console table. I just sealed it. It's actually an indoor console table, but I sealed it and use it outside now. And all I did was clean it up really well and then put these planters on the shelves instead. So quick and easy, great for outdoor storage because they're waterproof, weatherproof, and then I just filled it with all of my outdoor potting and gardening items. This is another over-the-door hook that I thought would hold up really well outside. This was kind of a black powder-coated hook, so instead of using it inside, I actually put one on this outdoor cabinet that we have. It was a great storage solution for me to be able to hang up beach towels or toys that needed to dry, and using the sun was a lot more energy efficient than using our dryer. This is the same wall-mounted hook system from Dollar Tree that I use for my Cricut mats underneath my workstation. We're going to take this outside, and I was going to hang it on this window that I have over my potting station, but it was a little bit too low. So instead what I did is actually took some pliers and sort of twisted and turned those hooks so they were even more curvy, I guess, if you that's not the best way to say it. But what I wanted to do is I wanted it to mount underneath this shelf here, and the hooks were just not going to hold anything really well. But if you just take some heavy duty pliers, because this metal is pretty heavy duty, so you're going to need something that's going to be able to clamp on and bend. So use some muscles, bend those hooks upwards more, and then you'll be able to then have more permanent and more secure storage for this type of mount. And here's what it looked like after all of those hooks were bent upwards and curved more. I just took some regular screws, screwed that right into the bottom side of the shelf, and then I had some extra storage for my gardening tools and gloves that was not taking up space on my work table. This is an unexpected item that maybe you never thought to use for organization. It is a dog collar from Dollar Tree, and you can actually use them to wrap around cords like your extension cords to keep them all nice and coiled up. You can also undo this and clip it onto something like a hook, or like I'm showing you here, the banister, if you don't wrap it around so tightly. And there's even that metal hook on the dog collar for you to be able to easily hang it up on a nail or a screw in your garage or your basement or wherever you need to store something like this. Now we're gonna head into the kitchen, but this is actually a bathroom item we're gonna use in there. It's a toothbrush and cup holder from Dollar Tree. Actually, I'm gonna be using this in our kitchen sink. So I had one of these that was kind of similar for the kitchen, but it broke. So I was looking for a replacement and just thought this would work perfectly. It's got suction cups on it. You push it to the back side of your sink, and then you can add sponges, scrubbers, washcloths in there. So that way it can kind of dry and it doesn't just sit in the bottom of your sink. And here are those napkin holders again that I showed you we used paint for earlier, except this time we are in the kitchen with them, which is usually where you find them with napkins. But you can also store things like seasoning packets in them to keep them all vertical, so you can just kind of sift through and find the ones that you need. This is another bathroom item that we're gonna take into the kitchen. I mean, you kind of have to think outside the box here, but we're gonna make this look nothing like a shower caddy by the time we're done with it. We do need to snip off that hook at the top. That's gonna help a lot. So use some heavy duty wire cutters for this, or you can kind of bend them back and forth if you're careful to break them loose. And this is what we're left with, kind of a nice shelf system with some hooks on it. And we're also gonna be using these removable hooks again. I love these things. These are the heavy duty ones. They hold about 3 pounds each. And I'm gonna be installing mine on the side of my refrigerator here. So I just kind of worked on getting the first hook in place and then hooked on the wire basket part onto that before installing the second hook. That way I could kind of level it and make sure it was where it needed to be before I pressed it down and it was more in a permanent place. This is great to add some additional storage in your kitchen if you kind of are short or low on cabinet space. So you can add things like foil or sandwich bags in here, or you can see I'm kind of creating a little coffee station or tea station. The coffee mugs hang perfectly off those little hooks on the bottom, and adding some tea and some coffee pods in there, even a little stir off to the side. So you can see that these hold quite a bit. I love big earrings and I always have trouble with them getting tangled up. So Dollar Tree has these ice trays that also have lids on them, which I love that. So we're gonna use this for an earring storage solution, but you could also use this for rings or bracelets or smaller necklaces too. The cool thing is there is that lid, so if you drop it, you're less likely for things to go spilling everywhere, but it also gives you the ability to stack these so you can really have a completely organized jewelry collection and kind of add to it if you need to. And here again is one of those over the door hooks. This is the one that we also created, the cabinet storage hooks that we bent forward so all of our utensils would kind of hang from it. You can also use these in the bathroom. So if you don't have a lot of storage in your bathroom, you can hang it from your shower curtain rod and put towels on it or things like that. Or you can also put it on the inside of your shower to hold your scrubbies or washcloths and that kind of thing. Let me know which one of these hacks was your favorite. You can let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. That helps out my channel so much. Please subscribe if you are new in the new year for 2022. We have so many new hacks coming your way. Thanks so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.